Hello there guys, welcome back to a new video in the Dream Kart Garage build series. We are really getting there with things now. In the previous video you probably will have seen me doing all of the prep work for the driveway ready for its finished surface, and that finished surface, as I've mentioned quite a few times now, I'm going with a gravel grid system topped with some decorative gravel. I was kind of going back and forth deciding which type of driveway to have. I was maybe thinking, do I go concrete with a printed pattern? Do I go block paving? Basically those two are out of the question. It'd be way too expensive due to the sheer size of the driveway that I have. I have over 200 square meters of driveway to cover, so I think the most cost-effective driveway system is going to be gravel grids infilled with some gravel. Not only is it the most cost-effective, but I think it's also going to look the best as well, because most of my driveway is in my back garden. I think if I was to have concrete or block paved in, over this massive space, it would just look way too much. So all of the hard work should pretty much be done now. It should just be a case of getting some gravel grids down and infilling with gravel. So let's get to it. So I know what some of you are wondering, which gravel grids have I decided to go with? So these are Amagard's Eurogravel Pro Black gravel grids, and the great thing about these is that they have a geotextile membrane already attached to them, so it saves you the difficult task of trying to roll out some geotextile membrane, keep that in place while laying your gravel grids. Another great thing about these is that they are very low profile, so they are only 30 millimeters thick. Now, why is that a good thing, you may ask? Well, that means you are going to be saving on your decorative gravel. So the grids themselves are only 30 millimeters thick. If you add an additional 20 millimeters on top, the grids themselves will be completely invisible. Whereas if you went with a thicker gravel grid, obviously you'd have to fill them up and then add more on top. So you'd basically be using a lot more gravel. So as I mentioned, these are their Pro gravel grids, so they are rated for a lot of weight. I'm fairly confident you can drive a fully loaded truck over these. So they take something like 40 tons when filled, so yeah, they're definitely going to be strong enough for what I need them for. Now let me show you just how easy it is to order these gravel grids from Amagard. So this is their website right here then. Very easy to navigate. At the top you have gravel grids, grass grids, lawn and garden edgings, and anything that's in their sale. Obviously we're most interested in their gravel grids with membrane or gravel grids without. Of course we want the ones with the membrane, and here are the different gravel grids that they offer. So these Eurogravel Plus gravel grids, they will take the weight of a car, but they're not really suitable if you are doing a lot of turning. If you are doing a lot of turning, or if you want them to take a lot more weight, you want the Pro gravel grids. That's what I've obviously decided to go with. And as you can see, the pricing is very sensible. Of course, the more you order, the cheaper per square meter they are. So if you order over 166 square meters, you will get the cheapest price. So all you need to do is, of course, calculate how many square meters that you require, and they will do the rest. They will calculate exactly how many gravel grids to send you. So let's say in our circumstance we need 200 square meters, add to cart. As you can see, it's already calculated exactly how many gravel grids we require. It's just given us 200 square meters. Our price, and because it's over a set amount, the shipping should be free. Yep, free delivery within 7 working days, or even delivery within 4 working days is also free. Of course, just proceed to checkout. Obviously just fill in all your details, leave any comments for the driver, and away you go. So before you start laying the gravel grids, there's obviously a few things that you need to consider. Probably the main one is which orientation you want the gravel grids to be. So as you can see, I have them going horizontally at the moment, but you could have them going vertically like that. Whichever way you choose, there's pretty much going to be how it is for the rest of the driveway. So you kind of need to make the decision at the start, really. Another thing to consider is if you want to stagger the gravel grids like you would with brickwork to create a stronger bond, essentially. Obviously, if you start doing this, then again, you have to pretty much do this throughout the whole entire driveway. Now, it is going to require a lot more work. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of half cuts to do, but I think, once again, like I said, it will create a stronger bond. The one thing you want to be absolutely certain on, though, is that you have enough room between your gravel grid and the start of your driveway for your decorative gravel, if you want the gravel grids to be hidden, that is. So from the top of this block to this gravel grid here, it's between 20 and 30 millimeters. So that's more than enough to get these gravel grids absolutely hidden. Obviously, it's the most important that you get this right at the start, because you can't just add more gravel on top, because it'll just spill over onto the pathway. For the rest of the driveway, if your levels are not exactly bang on, of course you can just add more gravel essentially, but it's not going to be as forgiving right at the start. Now, you may be wondering, how do these gravel grids join together? There's no clips or anything, they literally just slot together because they are a honeycomb structure. Once they are filled in the decorative gravel, they should not come loose. So front row now in, just had to do a slight cut for that one, and now I'm going to start working my way back now.
Was it the voice? Was it the fire burning in me? All of the noise turned into choirs of harmony. Left me with the pieces of forever that you broke. But since you left me alone, I've been high.
Okay then, so we really are getting there now. Pretty much the entire front section of the driveway is now complete. Very happy with how things are looking. I was kind of debating whether or not I just lay the full grid and then go along at the end and just do all the cuts, but I think it'd just be more hassle, because then I would have to then slot them back under, because obviously the geotextile membrane overlaps on each grid, so it's better off just do the cuts as you go basically. But yeah, very happy with how things are looking. Supposed to leave about a 50 millimeter gap around all of the borders, so that's pretty much what I've done. It's a little bit tighter in some areas, but I can't see it being a massive problem. I'm definitely glad that I did decide to stagger the joints though. Like I said, they should be a lot stronger in here now, and yeah, they physically can't move anywhere. So yeah, definitely if you are laying gravel grids, do stagger them. It's just going to be a stronger bond basically. Going around this flower bed, this is what has taken the time. Obviously it's not a uniform shape, so a lot of cuts required around this area. The odd bit where I've just inserted a loose bit, that'll be absolutely fine once it's filled in with gravel. Obviously I'm not driving right up to the flower bed anyway, so it's not going to be a problem. In terms of here, this ground is actually slightly higher, so what I'm going to do is actually just install some geotextile membrane and then kind of feather the gravel in. Again, I'm not going to be driving right up to this fence here, so it shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, generally looking pretty good. So I need to install a small section just there, and again, just been working my way towards the back. Again, this is where it's taken the time to do these small little cuts around these legs for this carport right here. Yeah, it is what it is. Obviously the more cuts you're going to have to do, the longer it's going to take, but yeah, pretty happy, like I said, with how things are looking so far. I think now we should be on the home straight. It should just be a pretty straight section left, and then obviously we need to go around the garage base at the front anyway, and yeah, then we're basically done. So another big long stretch now done. I'm actually going to have to pause things for a moment though, because I believe I have a delivery of 20 tons of gravel turning up pretty soon. Now, I was kind of debating with this section here, because it is pretty much exactly 2 gravel grids wide. I was debating whether or not I just do a straight run without staggering them. However, I decided in the end, if I'm doing it, I may as well do it properly and stagger them. Again, it's going to mean they're going to be much stronger. So it basically goes 2 gravel grids, half, 1, half, 2 gravel grids, half, 1, half, 2 gravel grids. You get the gist. Obviously it's a lot quicker doing this section because it literally means I just cut 1 gravel grid in half. Don't have to worry about, you know, cuts going around fence posts and things like that like I do here. But yeah, we should not have to do too many intricate cuts for this last little section. But yeah, I think what I'll do is leave this section until after we've taken that delivery in. Well then, there we go. 20 tons of decorative gravel. If you're wondering what this is called, well, it's called Cotswold Cream. Now, I have no idea if this is proper Cotswold chippings. I imagine it's all just limestone anyway, but this is kind of the look that we was after. It's not pure white, it is a creamy colour, and yeah, this is the exact size we're after, sort of between 10 and 20 millimeters in size. It fits perfectly in these gravel grids. So this is when they are filled up at 30 millimeters, and this is basically when they are completely covered at 50 millimeters. But yeah, I did think someone was just going to be tipping it. That's why I kind of expected half to go onto the driveway, half to go onto the path and the road, but he actually came in a grab lorry and just grabbed it off. It's a bit questionable because he said he had 20 tons. I'm sure those grab lorries are not supposed to take 20 tons, but hey ho, it saved us a massive job, you know, having to take it all off the path and the road. So I did give him a nice little drink on top of what I paid for it. But yeah, now I guess it's just a case of raking out this huge pile into the gravel grids before we finish off laying the gravel grids down the bottom there. Ready to get to work?
I'm already working.
I wanna know what nobody knows. I wanna go where nobody goes. I lost my way, but I found my fighter's destiny. I don't wanna look back now, 'cause I know that I don't need your love. I won't let you take me down, 'cause lately I've been
Well then, that is all of the gravel grids now installed. Very pleased with how things are looking. If you're wondering what's going around the sides and the back of the garage base, just going to be installing the geotextile membrane. Only need a very thin layer of gravel. Obviously there's going to be no traffic going down there, so no point wasting the gravel grids for around there. But yeah, this is looking so good now. It's time to bring in some gravel. You probably noticed that I've already worked my way down to this point with the decorative gravel. I'd say we are at least halfway there with moving those 20 tons now. But yeah, it seems to fill in very nicely. But enough talking, let's get to shifting all this decorative gravel. Okay then, so driveway is pretty much done. Let's take you on a little tour. I just think this colour stone, it's a creamy off-white, looks so good against the green lawn and the flower beds. Good thing about having a very light coloured stone, it doesn't matter how in need of a feed your lawn is. I mean, at the moment it's like we just came out of winter and it is a bit yellow, but against this stone it's just always going to look green, which is fantastic. But yeah, I'm just glad that I decided to go with this colour. I think anything darker just would have been too harsh. It's kind of hard to imagine how it's all going to look when the garage is up. But I just think this is the best colour I could have gone with. Like I said, for a back garden, you know, this does span pretty much half of my entire property. So yeah, it was a big decision to make, you know, when it came to choosing this gravel type. But yeah, like I said, massively happy with how things are looking. So it goes all the way down the sides, obviously all the way down the back as well. I don't know how many of you remember, but there is a land drain that goes all the way down here, goes under the fence and then into a natural brook there.
That's basically going to be my drainage for the garage. I don't have a soakaway or anything. Where I live, it's basically clay soil everywhere, so a soakaway wouldn't work anyway. I'm basically just going to be draining all of the rainwater into that brook just there. And so when the time comes that the garage gets built, the downpipe will probably just go down there, underneath this gravel, underneath the fence, and then straight into that brook. But yeah, it's pretty crazy because the garage actually looks a lot smaller now. I think it's just because the concrete is obviously a light colour, the gravel's a light colour, it's all kind of just blended in now. Let's just say this is the biggest garage that I could have had realistically. This recess bit here, that's only 5.4 meters in depth. The larger section, that's 6.6 meters, and the entire thing is 12 meters. So it's a decent sized garage, and I think it should be more than big enough for what I need to. But like I said, this video was basically on getting the driveway done, and yeah, I just could not be happier with how it's turned out. Let me know, of course, your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if personally maybe you would have gone with a different driveway choice. Would you have maybe gone with concrete, tarmac, block paving? But yeah, like I said, I am very happy with my decision, and I'm just glad that it's done now, because we're obviously at that stage where we're just waiting for the delivery of the garage. So as my garden sits, it means I can just kind of enjoy it now for summer, and not have to worry about weeds and anything coming through the driveway, because everything is well protected. Obviously we have geotextile membrane underneath the gravel grids, and obviously you're going to have the odd seed drop out the air that'll, you know, grow a weed or whatever, but you just pull it straight out. It's not anything major, but yeah, like I said, just over the moon with how things are looking now. And yeah, I think that's everything actually. I want to thank you all for watching. Give this video a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe if you have not already done so, and we'll see you all in that next one, which in this Dream Car Garage build potentially is going to be the delivery of that Dream Car Garage.